everybody. Welcome to ICC's Game of the Week with your host, as always, Joel Benjamin. World champion Magnus Carlsen raised a few eyebrows when he agreed to play in a Swiss system tournament. That decision didn't look so good at first when he was held to a draw in the first round of the Qatar Masters by IM Nino Batsiashvili. Carlsen shook off that failure and put up full points against his male opponents, soon surging into the lead. In round 5, Carlsen produced one of the more spectacular games of the tournament, reminding us that he is more than just a good grinder. All right, let's get to it. Carlsen against Chao, who is one of the top Chinese players, has a very formidable rating of 2750, but I think that to most of us, he's perhaps the least well-known of the top Chinese players. We've seen Ding in some of the top tournaments. There's been quite a fuss about both Yu and Wei. We've seen Wang Yuan, Wang Hao kind of come and go. But Li Chao, I don't know if he's really had a major round-robin tournament, so he's. I feel, at least, that he's a little bit of an enigma at this point. Okay, Carlsen plays f3. This is an anti-Grunfeld measure that has been pretty popular at the high levels. Do not try this at home unless you're prepared to play a Samish King's Indian, because black does not have to play d5. And this is generally played by strong players who know that their opponents really want to play the Grunfeld against the King's Indian player. Well, you're just going to get a King's Indian. But Lead takes up the challenge with d5. And then we see the idea of f3 as opposed to the standard knight c3 is that when white gets in this move e4, there's no knight to exchange on c3, so white picks up a genuine tempo and now dominates the center and will try to defend it. But of course, there's the pawn on f3, which can interfere with white's natural development by taking away that square from the knight, of course. Now here there are games, there are certainly a number of games where white puts the pawn on f4 in order to get that square to develop for the knight. But most of the time, especially in the Grandmaster games, white just plays queen d2, looking to develop very rapidly with castle's queenside, which would immediately activate the rook on the d-file. But also because one thing that white loves is this potential to attack on the king side using this move bishop h6 to trade bishops. Note that black is basically devoid of defenders in this position on the king side, and that's what makes it such a juicy prospect. In the meantime, black is going to have to look for counterplay somehow, and there are various ways that black can play this. Sometimes black goes for the measure in the center e5, but most of the time it's knight c6. And after castles here, Li Chao goes for f5, and this is certainly a line that has been played many times. In fact, in the database, f5 is actually a more popular move than queen d6. But if you look at the practice of the top level grandmasters, the 2700 plus guys, you see queen d6 pretty much dominates those games. Now, Carlsen has been involved in some of these games, and he faced queen d6 in 2014 from Fabiano Caruana in the Norway tournament, and that game he played knight b5, which white is often doing. Queen went back to d7, and king b